all right. I'm glad to see that our group is growing every week. I want to continue on what we talked about last time, which is coronavirus, and we put together an action plan for you that you can use. I want to show you mine because we always teach from example. Let me hit present now. And then I'm giving you guys a template that you guys can use and tune as you see fit. Check this out. All right. You guys see this okay? Let me know in the comments if you see this okay. So this is our coronavirus action plan. A lot of partners I see are afraid of making content because they don't want to drown out the news that's out there or give misinformation, or they just never really want to go live because they're still kind of, hiding in a hole. And I feel that too. I talked to a lot of people just in the last 24 hours, overcoming their fear of being able to teach. But if you're not showing who you are and how you're living, then your clients aren't able to do that. And then that impacts their customers. So we want to help out these small businesses by showing that we have a plan. And I'm going to show you that based on what we do, it's the same thing that you can do and adjust. A lot of people, they are afraid of marketing because they feel that it appears insensitive. Because how dare you try to sell when we have an emergency kind of situation? But when you say, look, actually, when we're educating people on what we know here in this middle phase, and when we're sharing our stories about things that we've learned, for example, I bought some of this pink grapefruit seltzer. I really like this. It's cheaper than the Pellegrino. It's only like 20 cents, and I think it tastes just as good. Then I just spent 15 seconds teaching sharing a particular moment of my life, right? Or maybe on the house stage, I'm sharing, here I have the Sony a7 IV. It's the brand new 61 megapixel full frame camera. Here's things that we can do with it. Let me just show you one tip on how we shoot in low light, right? And then on the conversion side, on the bottom, a story of saying, here I'm in the kitchen and we just grilled some steak, and I want to let you know that even though I'm here in my kitchen, I'm still here for you. We're still open for business. We still are doing X, Y, and Z, right? And so when you share as an agency how you're going through these 3 stages by sharing these 15-second stories, you can start to string them together. So you could say, for example, that like yesterday, one of my friends is a loan officer, and she's got, I think, 7 locations across the United States, and they do veteran lending. And of course, they've transitioned everything to working from home because you can still process mortgages electronically. You don't have to go to the office. And we got their loan officers that are making stories about, what they would do if an intruder were to come, or let me show you the guns that I have, or let me tell you about a particular situation. They're just sharing their stories, and then it goes into the how, where based on the story, you share some kind of knowledge, and then it goes into the what, which is simply, and I just want to let you know we're still open for business. Or that, or you could say from here, there's many different ways of sequencing together, right? It could be, I went to the supermarket yesterday and they're out of toilet paper, but I also realized that, what's more important than toilet paper? Food. I would rather make sure I had enough food than I'd rather run out of toilet paper before I run out of food. And that's why we need to make sure that we don't have this kind of hysteria, because, we need to connect with one another and not get isolated. And by the way, I'm here, I have my children in the background or whatever it might be, and that's how I am. I'm a family person, and I'm here for business, even with my kids with me, right? So there's so many different ways that you can tell little stories. They don't have to be in one video. They can be in multiple 15-second videos that you put out there on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and whatnot. But when people understand that you should actually increase your marketing during this time period, provided you have the financial resources to weather a couple months of this. And even $1 a day, anyone should be able to afford that. At the top and middle of the funnel, knowing that at the bottom of the funnel, it's going to come back, right? Things will eventually come back. And thus, here are the different things that we need to have. By the way, just let me know in the comments. Are you guys able to see this okay? Is everything coming through okay? Yes? Okay. As corny as it sounds, we need to all have a coronavirus notice. So you probably, had 100 emails, all from, you're like, oh, who are these companies? I didn't even know I was on their list, telling you that they had a coronavirus plan, right? You could certainly just copy and paste someone else's notice just to be able to show that you're there, but you could personalize it by turning it into a video and saying, yes, we care about our customers and our doors are shut and we are open for business virtually, but let me tell you something else too about some stories of some of our employees and what they're doing, or something that shows it's not just some corporate template, right? And then a work from home plan. So show how your agency, even if it's just you, here's how you're still open for business and you transition everything to working from home, and that you're still available from the hours of 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. or whatever it might be, to show that all the systems are still working, because people need to hear that. Your customers, if they don't hear from you, your clients, they're going to assume that you're not there. I mean, the biggest issue with this is just to show people that you're there. Hello, I'm still here. I'm still in business. When you do that for your clients, then they can do that for their clients. So this is inception, if you will. You're demonstrating through your example that you are going live on Facebook daily for just 10 minutes, just saying what's going on. You don't have to have a whole presentation ready. It doesn't have to be some, public speaking kind of thing. Just literally just some thoughts you have and some good news that you have. And that allows your clients to be able to practice what you preach. So we're always setting the examples for them. Step 4, make training free. What are different things that you could do to take the things that you've been saying all along? We talked about the topic wheel, the 3x3, your personal brand, making lots of little pieces of content, even 15-second pieces of content. I saw Joe Lucca just posted something here, fantastic, right? Turn that into training. Take your top 10 items and turn it into an ebook. Have someone from Fancy Hands or a virtual assistant or Fiverr turn that into some kind of guide, just like you see here. And then the 5th thing I want to talk about is, from a nonprofit standpoint, what's a really cool technique, okay? Does anyone have any thoughts on this so far before we jump into the detail? Does this make sense? Does anyone thinking this is too much work, or I don't know what to do? Let's see, let's look at the chats here real quick. Michael says, how do you give away free stuff without it feeling like another marketer giving free stuff away? That's a good question. And this goes to the heart of any kind of selling that you're doing. You always want to make it come from a story. Whenever it comes from your situation, from you telling the story of someone else, and you have the particulars, this is like a why story, then it doesn't come off as corporate nonsense. Like all these companies that are publishing corporate nonsense, there's vague, there's no particular individual story. So when you say, I was talking with one of my employees, Mark, and this is what he told me he was worried about, right? That he is taking this particular medication that's an anti-immune system thing, and he needs to stop it because we all need our immune systems to be strong, or whatever it is we're telling, because of what we're doing for Mark, or because here's all our people in the Philippines and here's what they're doing. People can identify with you. Some folks are thinking, well, asking for money is not okay because it seems insensitive and opportunistic, and you don't want to be like that guy who has 20,000 bottles of hand sanitizer he's selling for $20 each. But when you show that, hey, this is my team and here's how they're working, you're able to sell in a gentle way while people are still able to identify with you, right? It always comes from the why, how, and what. When you anchor it from a story, a particular moment in time, then it doesn't feel like selling. Joe says, how do you go about turning a video into a guide? Easy. You chop it up, or you transcribe it through Otter.ai or Fiverr or what have you, and take different portions and assemble it into a why, how, and what. The easiest kind of guide is a top X list, like the top 10 ways on how you do whatever. And it just be tips that you have or things that you've curated from other people. Let me show you guys something. So this is LinkedIn. Remember, so we practice what we preach. And just a couple hours ago, I went live with Gavin Bell. And he's interviewing me and asking me questions. We're talking about, what are we doing for local businesses? Should they spend money on advertising? What are things that they should do? Like, for example, I mentioned, well, if you're a gym or you're a restaurant, offer a coronavirus special where if they spend $70 now, then they get a $100 credit that they can use when this whole thing is over. Because, whenever it's over, it will be over, right? And that's just another way of generating revenue. So people know who you are, right? We went through a bunch of different tips. This got streamed to Facebook and I think YouTube and LinkedIn. And I've done 3 of them today. So I'm practicing what I preach. It could be my own. It could be ones that are with other people. Here's one that I think you'll find is funny. So let's see, this one. This is my buddy, Zach Quenzer. He's a missionary for the LDS Church, and they're on lockdown. Now, notice what I'm doing is I'm telling you a story. They're in Gilbert, Arizona. They're on lockdown, and he's dedicated 2 years of his life to be able to go out and knock on doors, but they're not allowed. Oh, where is it? Do I not have the right? They're not allowed to go knock on doors. They're just sitting at home, right? So what are they going to do? Well, he said, we should go live then. But Dennis, I don't know how to go live. How do I do this? And I said, just do it, right? And here he is. Now he's sharing videos. Now he's going live here. This is his first live yesterday. See, Zach Quenzer was live, Corona commentary. You can tell they don't really know what they're doing, but that's okay. Look, but you identify with it. You have to listen.
One, how can we look positively at the coronavirus? Two, what advice do you have for coping with anxiety? And three, how do we face the unknown?
We'll be talking about them throughout the live stream. So
you can tell they've never done this before, right? But there's something endearing about it. So you don't really judge them as sucking on video. They're not professional video spokespeople. And look, this was his very first live, never did it before, super nervous. And look at all the comments and shares and likes, and he got 1,300 views. He didn't schedule it. He doesn't have an email list. He's not a marketer. He doesn't know anything about marketing, okay? So look, he goes on and on and on. So like I'm giving him advice. He's like, well, how do I go live, or should I go vertical? And like here, he linked me to it. Like, how do we do the next podcast or episode, or how often should we go live? How long should it be? Is 30 minutes too long, right? He's like asking me all these questions, and he's a missionary. And the key thing is that he's there just trying to share his message. Who do you think has it harder? Like you think about any kind of service business that wants to get a conversion, because every business wants all local businesses want conversions. What do you think the most difficult conversion is? Is getting someone to convert to your religion, right? And he's worried, oh, will it scare people? What should we say? And I said, no, this is even better. So now they created a page, your favorite guys in white shirts and ties. And now he's boosting a post. He says, how much should I boost it for? And I said, boost for $3 over 3 days. So $1 a day. So for 3 days. And you know, these are kids. These you know, they're celebrating good news and just doing stuff like this. Oh, what is this? What the heck? They got more people coming in?
All right, sweet.
I didn't even get to see
this.
Okay, so hopefully that bought us enough time to get people watching.
See, I taught him, hey, you need to engage, right? It's really that simple. Okay, so with the coronavirus notice, post that everywhere, personalize it by making it a video as well. And tell a story with that too. Always include a story with your teaching. If you teach something or if you sell something and you don't lead with a story, it can feel didactic. It can feel like you're preaching at someone if you're giving someone advice if you don't start with a story. Notice I'm always starting with a story when I'm trying to teach you something new, right? The work from home plan. Show that, so this is inception. It's twofold. Because A, you're telling everybody, whether it's employees or whatnot, even if it's just you, still you should publish the fact that you have a work from home plan. You can say, this is how our business is operating, and employees are always available during core hours, and these are the channels that we use, and all this. You're doing it for your team initially, but what you're really doing is you're letting everybody know that you're a business and you're still available online. And this is, you see what I'm saying? This is inception. So you're actually doing marketing without people realizing that you're doing straight up marketing. Okay, let's see. Pixie Dust. I created 5 tips on how to manage your business during this trying time and sent it to clients and prospects. Absolutely. So are you also
hang on, let me just see what's going on here. Hang on, let me see if it's worth it.
Oh, you're seeing if it's worth it, Janice? I hope it's worth it. Mug life, prize possession. Okay, what else do we have? Yeah, we should, by the way, if you have a question, feel free to ask in the chat and we'll answer it. Otherwise, you probably want to be on mute.
Hello?
Yep. Hey, Janice Christopher, welcome.
All right.
So you probably want to be on mute, and then just ask your, because we get more and more people on this every week, and plus there could be background noise, so you want to tune that out. Feel free, if you have a question, ask a question. We'll get to it, right? Either now or towards the end. But the work from home plan is your secret way of letting everybody know that you're still in business. And I've got a template for you to use on this and the notice and these other pieces. I think the core of what you can do is going live on Facebook. And this is a scary thing. And even I don't like to go live, right? I'm a digital marketer, and you're a digital marketer too, and you're an agency, but it's kind of funny. It's like camera people. You would think like they'd be the best in video, but they're actually the worst getting on video because they'd rather be behind the camera. But literally just do 10 minutes. Just like Elder Quenzer I showed you. He has no idea what he's doing, but it's working, right? When you go live, it's very different than a webinar or pre-recorded content or writing copy, because the key is driving engagement. So ask people how they're doing. Ask them where they're from. Ask them what they had to eat. Ask them, you know, what they thought about whatever it is. And then to keep people from being gloomy, share a piece of good news. I like to collect 2 or 3 pieces of good news, like this 103-year-old woman survived Corona and now she's healthy, right? Or my friend who runs an Airbnb, his guests are not able to work. They lost their jobs, and thus he let them stay for free. Like, wow, that's pretty awesome, right? And then remind them, this is where I am. Hey, we're here. We're still open for business. And you can do that. You can remind them at the beginning of your call and at the end of the call. And it's very easy to do. All you need is a cell phone. You don't need a video studio. You don't need these other things. If you do this for your agency, and then you create this kind of plan, teach from example for, you know, turn this into a webinar. You literally take the stuff we have here and turn it to your own webinar. I'm going to give you the template. Then you're helping your clients do this. In fact, I would proactively call up every one of the clients and say, hey, would you like to get together and go live together maybe? Or let's put together a plan that you can share with your customers. Or let's feature some good news that is happening in your community, right? My friend, Dr. David Berg, runs a chain of hospitals, and he's getting overwhelmed with all the people coming in because they all believe they have Corona when they really don't, but whatever, people are coming in. So he has telemedicine, so people can come in and call, or they can call on the phone, which is way better and cheaper for many reasons. And then nurse practitioners will step them through the questions. Well, have you been out of the country, and do you have a cough, and you know, all that stuff to figure out should they quarantine or come to the hospital, right? There's a lot, like all of us can practice telemedicine or whatever you want to call it, webinars, even if we're not doctors, right? And that's why Zoom stock is way up, right? And as an extension of this, make your training free. If you see what Ryan Deiss has done and what we have done, like I was in Austin a week ago with Ryan Deiss and these other folks, and you'll see, you know what, I'm gonna have so many, here I'm on Facebook. It can be on any channel. You'll see I said, you know, I'm so enamored with Ryan Deiss making his training free that I went ahead and made all our training free too. And then all these other people are saying the same thing too, which is fantastic, right? See if I can find this thing. I think it's a couple more posts down. Here, I'll show you. So these people here are, where is it? Yeah, oh, Dave Scott said this. Digital Marketer gave out free access, and so did Dennis. And so I said, hey, if you're interested, and this is something you can do too. It doesn't have to be a whole academy like Digital Marketer or we have. But I said, hey, if you want to do this, then send me a note, right? And actually, I think I must have gone past it. Let's see, where is it? Send me a note and use Love is Kind as you, yeah, I think it's this one here. This one. Digital Marketer gave out all their stuff for free. So now I'm going to give out all my stuff for free too. Why not? Because people need it. I can't even find the one that I have. But so look at this. Check this out. So if I do a search in my mail, Love is Kind, 1 Corinthians 13, right? And whether you're a Christian or not, I think it's still a good example. And look at how many people we've got coming in, right? Like here's one. Chet. I've always wanted to start an agency, but haven't been willing to do this, whatever. And then our person came in and said, this is one of our VAs, Melanio, it's a guy, saying, hey, Chet, blah, 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 here's some of these other, and they're replying, they're giving our training, which of course we want to run to Vendasta, because if you want to start an agency, a lot of these people are saying they lost their job, or let's see, what's this one? This just came in, okay. I got a 1-day warning from my company, they're suspending all payroll, and I want to grow my Google Ads consulting into a 7-figure agency, and here's my agency. And the niche is Google Ads, Beryl Trachtenberg. And our person comes in, you know, blah, blah, blah. Like this is very, I mean, just look, there's hundreds of these. Look at this. And some of them I'll even reply on. Here's one, Lindsay Peterson from the Tyler Robinson Foundation. Hey, Lindsay, blah, blah, blah. Give us your goals, and then we can recommend courses because we've got lots of stuff. Hey, Lindsay, good to see you again. I can just click on any of these ones. Here's one. Hello and thank you for what you do. My business goal is brand awareness as a travel destination using content and media in Dubai. Whale from Dubai. Okay. Hey, I love Dubai. And then, you know, our person comes in, hey, added whale, I miss Dubai and the big aquariums, right? They're personalizing. They show they care. The reason why we don't have this as a form, because we could have said is, dang, this is a lot of work. We have like 500 people in the last 2 days that have come in and said, yeah, I want to have some free training. Well, if people just fill out a form and then the autoresponder sends them a thing saying, oh, congratulations, so-and-so, here's your training, they don't really feel like we cared for them. And it is a lot of extra work, but I literally look at every single, you can see, I look at every one of these ones that come through, right? There's so many of these on these ones. Actually, this is just one of them. But like here, whoever this guy is, I'm from Singapore and I've started my marketing agency and we want to make $100,000 and blah, blah, blah. And then here it is, our people are replying, right? And here's our course on how to start an agency. And I'm like, oh, awesome, I love Singapore too, right? $100,000 for your first year, yeah, that's not bad, right? Or that's your goal, awesome, right? Now's a great time to start an agency. So we're providing our training for free. And by the way, because you're a Vendasta partner, if you want any of our training, I'm happy to give you the templates so that you can take our stuff and then turn it into training that you can put for your agency. And let me just show you what that looks like. So there's this one thing we call the master presentation. Now this is like what you're not supposed to, like, I'm not supposed to show you stuff like this, but I'll just show you. Actually, I think we call it the secrets. Here it is. Okay, so you can see this sucker's 1,200 pages, and it has all of the training. Like you can take this is, think of this as like the pantry. The pantry has everything, but if you're going to make a meal, you're not going to use every single ingredient. That would be ridiculous. You're just going to use maybe some chicken and some basil and like whatever it is that you need to cook to be able to do the things that you want. And then you could take this and you could reassemble this into any kind of training that you want on analytics, on video, on SEO, on driving leads, on like whatever, right? And so we have tons of templates on how you can create any kind of whatever out of this, right? Checklists on how to do these, how to create content structures, how do you do courses, like we have like all this stuff in here, right? So make your training free. Now, some of us make a good chunk of our living through info products, but I'd say now's not a good time to try to be making money off of people. I mean, there's some of my friends are like, you know what, if they're willing to pay and you can make money, you should make money because it's capitalism and I need to feed my family, so I'm gonna, okay, you know, that's fine too. I'm not here to tell you what you can do or not do, but I believe that it's a really good move if you can to take the knowledge you have and just make it free for the next 30 days, 60 days, not as a free trial, but just giving it out there for free. And I think it just builds so much community for you, right? I'll show you one other thing related to that. Like we go back to LinkedIn and we look at, let's see if I can look at these notifications. I always love looking at the notifications, right? Look, I put this thing out here and I truly meant it. I said this a couple days ago. Hey, if you don't have any toilet paper or you're compromised, you need someone to go get groceries for you or whatever, like, okay, I'll do that. Like literally let me know. And all these people are coming in. Now, this is not virtue signaling. You guys have heard of virtue signaling where you're just trying to say something, but you don't mean it. You're doing it just because you want people to think you're good, right? But this has gotten hundreds of comments because I literally am giving away toilet paper and food and things like that. I actually went to Costco and bought all this stuff because I just, you know, not that I think we're ever going to run out of toilet paper, but whatever. And like you can see that when you do this, other people are, you're creating this positivity that flows through the community. So here, this 3 days ago, this is what inspired me. Ryan Dice said, update, my company is giving away all our stuff for free. And then as part of this, when people come into DM Lab, they're getting access to a lot of the training that we created. So when Ryan puts stuff out here like this is promoting us. And then I'm telling other people, hey, go get it. This is really good stuff. And then all these people are coming in and they're saying, wow, this is really good, right? Oh, and when people say this, always come in and comment. I'm using a MacBook Pro, so it's an Apple. And I'll come in, if I'm not connected to them, so you can see I'm a first degree connection, I'll connect with them and then I'll say, I use shortcuts on Apple, so if I type in TY, That turns into thank you very much, Jorge, right? I've got lots of keyboard shortcuts, right? For you're welcome or my address. I have that there, right? Now, I wouldn't put my address here, but I'm just showing you how I might use these kinds of shortcuts. Reply to everybody here. You're going to get triple your reach. So when you're sharing this knowledge, when you're sharing your training, comment back on every one of these channels, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, whatever it is. You're going to triple your reach. Interview other people. They can interview you. Share their stuff across all these other channels. Turn it into a top 10 tips lead magnet. All these different ways of repurposing content. When you're doing good things for other people, just like this one with Gavin Bell I just showed you, or I did one with Ali Bloyd an hour ago, their audience becomes your audience and things will start to take off. Here's one I think I showed you a few days ago. This was a week ago. And I said, somebody hit me up for free consulting. I gave him some free help, but then he was complaining and wanted another hour. And I dropped everything that I was doing for him, but that's not the way you behave, right? And I was voicing something that a lot of us as consultants know, where like, how do you deal with the people who, like, you want to help everybody, but you can't give everybody a free hour, right? And this is what you need to do. And this has gotten lots and lots of people, 1,000 people have liked it, and all these other people, not that that's the gauge of whether I think it's good content or not, but it shows that there's resonance. And all the things that we're doing, you can do it too. You don't have to be a speaker at the big conferences. You don't have to be on TV. You can do it in your niche, right? So whatever your lighthouse is, like my buddy Welton Hong, I showed you, he's like one of my favorite examples. Because he's like a good student. He does all the stuff that I tell him to do. And not blindly, but he understands why. But this guy's not a fancy public speaker. But here he is, he's doing all this stuff here, right? Hey, some of you guys are working from home. Here's what I think. Look what he's saying.
Most likely, most of you are working from home now. And how do you know? Your employees are actually working. Or how do you prove to your boss that you're actually working hard?
I see it's working for him, right? Then he's cross-posting it in all these different places. This is working. Why? Because he's the guy in the death care industry, right? He helps funeral homes drive more leads through Google and Facebook marketing. He drives phone calls. The name of his company is Ring Marketing. Pretty clear what he does is make the phone ring for funeral homes. And it was funny because I was just chatting with him a little earlier. I think I got it here. And I said, so Welton, just like privately, oh, you know, it's not here. It was in Basecamp. So Welton, are you guys getting more business? And he says, oh, not an increase or decrease yet, but certainly we're not, the funeral homes are not exactly worried about that, right? And so there's different businesses that are up or down based on things like Corona, but this guy, do you think there's anyone else who services, well, first off, of all the agencies out there, how many are servicing funeral homes? Like, this is the guy when it comes to funeral homes. He's just absolutely killing it when it comes to funeral homes. Killing it, my goodness, that's a horrible analogy. He's doing very well for funeral homes. And on top of that, he's telling other funeral homes, here's what you need to do. Like, because a lot of them are saying, well, I shouldn't be saying anything out there because it's a really insensitive sort of thing for a funeral home to be talking about whatever it is. But if you do it in the right way, you have top and middle funnel content, it's actually very good, right? Because then if you're an agency owner and you service that industry and you talk about what people in that industry, let's say it's real estate agents or whatever it is, and you're saying, here's what real estate agents need to do. Here's what mortgage brokers need to do and be thinking about. That's exactly what they want to hear, okay? Last part, nonprofit support plan. If you really want to help out in the community and you already work with some of these nonprofits, like one of our favorite nonprofits is Lost Our Home, where there are pets that they have to go to the pound or be killed or put down because there's just nowhere for them to go. Because let's say a woman, she gets battered and beaten up by her husband, and so she goes to a battered wife's home that doesn't allow pets. Well, then the pet goes to a facility, right? So we're helping that nonprofit, but that nonprofit has Google grants. I think someone needs to be muted. Who's that? Take a look at that. Someone is not on mute. Oh, okay. Well, they unmuted. Okay, but so that nonprofit, they still need to get their message out because they still have pets in the facility. Or think about the nonprofits that you're working with. Now, what'll happen is they're not even aware of Google Grants, which is free PPC, $10,000 a month with certain restrictions. And if they even are using it, they're only spending a couple $100s out of the $10,000. So we come in and say, look, we're going to come in and do all these things. We're going to get your digital plumbing in place. We're going to expand the keywords that you're bidding on because we're going to create more content. We're going to create all these blog posts based on your social posts that we transcribe in the blog post, or we just literally take your live videos and just post them as is on the WordPress. I know that's not necessarily a blog, but you can have a blog with one sentence. You can have a blog that's just an embedded YouTube video or what have you, right? You can have a blog that features good news from other people, and each blog post is just one comment. It doesn't have to be 500 words or whatever it is. And when you have these pieces of content that now populate that blog, that allows for your increase in spend because you're covering more keywords. The keyword universe is way bigger when you're able to take these social postings onto the blog, and it's still within Google's TOS as long as it's in promotion of the nonprofit or relevant to the topic of the nonprofit. And that's how you go from $1,000 a month to $10,000 a month. And one of those blog posts, listen here, this is why you do this as an agency. One of those blog posts will be about how you're working together with that nonprofit's cause. So now you're spending, so they were spending, let's say $1,000 a month, and you've ramped it up over the course of 3 months to $10,000 a month. And maybe as part of that 9,000 increase, 2,000 of it is promoting towards your blog post on their blog. So it's still within the terms of service for Google Grants. Now you offer that service for free because you're a digital marketing agency and PPC is not very hard. So you offer that service to the nonprofit that doesn't have the technical capability, and nonprofits are just, when it comes to tech, they just, you know, they need help, right? Then you win and they win and the community wins. And now you've gotten a message out there that is not tone deaf because you're talking about what you believe in, how there's a cause, or look at these pets, or veterans that are injured, or children with cancer, like whatever the nonprofit is that you're a part of, reach out to them and say, hey, I know things are hard right now, but we're certified in Google Ads, or we're very good at running Google Ads, or whatever it is. We would love to help you with your Google Grants. Or if you don't have a Google Grants account, we would love to help work with you to apply for it, google.com/grants, right? We have webinars, all this kind of stuff. Our buddy Larry Kim put together some training on it. I think maybe it was one of his people, but WordStream, and they have this whole thing showing here's how you tune a Google Grants account, right? Okay, and then other pieces of good news, like here's a great idea, right? All restaurants, gyms, and other brick and mortar businesses should do this. Invest $75 now and get $100 when we reopen. Here's our working from home policy. I think I've got links to some of these other pieces here as well, right? So this is a template. I just walked you through it, kind of showing you how we have it organized. But the same way, this is one that you can inject. Now here's the template. This is the one that you can put your stuff into and your branding and modify it as you see fit, however you want to do it. Inject your little stories. Inject, make it vertical specific. Make it, if you've chosen a lighthouse, figure out how it applies to your lighthouse, to your vertical, to your city, right? What does it mean for the residents of Saskatoon, right? And interview some other people in Saskatoon and ask them what's going on in your favorite pizza. Like George told us he's got this favorite Italian restaurant that serves seafood. And is that place still open? And what are they doing? And what could they do, right? Interview your clients, ask them what they think. Say, what are your contingency plans, right? What do you do with your employees? This is the Google Grants one I was telling you about, right? Okay. So what do you guys think? This, I think, is a smart way of building out your funnel in the 3 stages like we talked about. It still is about why, how, and what. It still leverages the community building the traffic for you because you're interviewing them. It still drives sales, but in a way that it's very sensitive to the community. And it leverages content and templates that we have created for you, stuff that we've tested that we know is working. So you know that you're getting kind of a shortcut because instead of having to make all the stuff yourself, you have these templates that we've created for you. So let's see, what do we guys have here in the chat? Let's see, my guess is brand, because you can boost the live afterwards. That is true. Mitch says, love that verse, Dennis. Michael says, I'm like the 8-year-old kid who's watching TV with his parents past bedtime, and I'm just trying not to say anything in case they remember they should be watching TV now. Jan says, okay, that's awesome. Where should I reach out to? So we've got a group that you'll get everything you see here, and any of the, if you're watching this on the replay, anything that we have, you guys can download and skin. And this is why Vendasta cares about helping local businesses succeed and helping partners succeed to help these local businesses succeed, right? All right.
I think if you scroll back up to the top, Dennis, there were some links to some of the content that people were posting about COVID this week.
Oh, okay. Let's see
We'll
what
go through some of those.
here's Joe.
Or
Lesson.
courses like this. Yeah.
Yeah, let's take a look at some of this content.
So now we're going to talk about list building tactics. You really want to build your email list so that you grow a number and you're able to market people at any time. Especially now more than ever, people are at home online and they're looking for information always. And building your email list actually helps when you're running ads in the long run and retargeting to lookalike audience to people that are opting in your list. So you really want to see what tactics are you doing to really build your email list. Are you giving subscriptions out? Are you giving freebies out? Are you giving discounts out? You know, what are you giving value to your customers to make them want to opt into your list? And you really want to show that in your different tactics. And it's okay to have a different tactic per
I go 1.5.
because that's how you're drawing and ultimately that's how you're segmenting your list. So below, write down the different tactics that you would like to use and see implemented in your email marketing campaign. Once you're done with the email tactics, then go ahead and segment your list. See who you are targeting. Are you targeting buyers, lost cart, general subscribers? Who are you targeting in your list so that you know? Some email campaigns show you how your email lists are already targeted. You can download that data if you already have it. But if you're starting from new, see who you would like to open an email list and who you would segment that off to. Would you segment something off to men, women, etc.?
This is very good, Joe. I'd say a couple things. To make it even better, because you have actionables at the end and you've put it as part of a segmented course here, print out what that checklist is and actually show it on camera at the beginning and show what some of those results are. This is very good. You're not filming against a white wall, which is the most common sin that we see. You've done a little bit of video editing, which is great, so people know what the topic is. I like the background. Your lighting looks good. Your sound is coming through pretty good. You're well spoken. This is excellent. Now, a few things that you can make it even better. One is look directly in the camera. Most people, when they're filming, they look at themselves because they just want to see how they look. But then you can see that when you do that, it doesn't look quite like they're looking at you. See, look, they're only like, you can see like you're looking slightly down. So look in the camera directly. If you're putting it as part of a course, you might want to start off with the hook. So instead of the title slide like this, start off with the hook. So the first 3 seconds is something in here that's the most interesting piece, and then you segue to the bumper, right? Or whatever it is where you have the name of the course, the email list building piece. As part of a course, actually you don't have to do that as part of a course. With a course though, it's okay to have it in landscape. You probably want to have the captioning. This is still very good. If you're putting it out there natively on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, you might want to consider it square, starting with that hook. You got 1:30, which is fine. Sound, you might want to consider, like here, I've got a Blue Yeti, and just out of view here, I've got a shotgun mic. You can't see this. Actually, I could pull it down. You see, I can pull it down so you can see I've got a shotgun mic right here. I don't know if you guys can see this. But that's great. Just keep doing that, right? And then promote your mini course. Rule of thumb, 3 to 1. Every 1 unit of effort to produce a course, you need 3 units of effort to promote the course. Same thing with the book. You know, a lot of people are like, I went through all this effort, I wrote the book. Okay, well, 3 times that effort, that's what you need to promote the book. All right, let's look at Mitch. Facebook, coronavirus, he's got his baby. Good idea.
Going on with coronavirus
Smart.
right now. I want to give you 3 things that you guys need to do. And the first one is the most important one. That's take care of your families. Make sure you got enough food. Make sure you got enough toilet paper, if you can find it. And number 2 is this is the perfect time, guys, to work on your business instead of in your business, which you probably do a lot. And there's probably been things you've been putting off for a few months that you could now be doing with all this extra time, right? So work on your business, get those things done. It's been on that task list for a while. The third thing is all these people that are out of work and not going to sports games, they're going to be online, which means you and your business also need to be online. So take some time, be on there, engage with people, let people know that you're there. Don't cut back on your marketing. A lot of people are trying to cut back on marketing. don't want to do that. You want to actually put more into it because people are all going to be online. So you also need to be there too. So make sure you look out for your family. They're the most important thing in all of this. All right, guys? Love you.
Wow. This is excellent. This is absolutely
What's up,
fantastic
guys?
because he's moving. The baby is kind of the hook to get your attention. He's honoring what he's saying by saying, take care of your family. He's got his baby with him, right? Good job, Mitch. And then I would take this. Oh, you filmed it vertically too? If you haven't already, cross-post that to LinkedIn, to Instagram, to Twitter, to all the other channels. This is great content. And you've got engagement here. Let's see, did he reply? Yes, he did. He replied, he replied, he replied. He replied to this one. Fantastic. And then, are you liking and replying? Yes, you are. Wow, Mitch, I give you an A, like maybe even an A+. This is very, very good. I don't think you need to put hashtags for Facebook, but you know, it'll work. Still very good. Very, very good. All right, let's see, what do we have here? Did I miss a couple here at the top? Oh, I did I click on the wrong one? Let's see. Put it bottom here. Yeah, Joe says, nice video, Mitch. All right, so what do you guys think? Are you interested in the template? Like, what do you guys think about this template? And by the way, you don't have to give a PowerPoint. This is something, one of the things I'll do is I will print out these items and show them as props here. And you'll see that when I literally print out these snapshot reports. Can you guys see this? I'll stop presenting. I literally will take, can you see my face when I'm showing this? I'm literally printing out these snapshot reports and I'm explaining it. I'm not using it as a crutch, but I'm using it as a prop just to get people to pay attention. So because oftentimes when you're scrolling through LinkedIn or Facebook or what have you, and you see someone who's talking, you don't really know what they're talking about. But if you see in the beginning that they have this and they're pointing at this, it's like, oh, 45, uh-oh, well, what does that mean? Well, so then it's like, oh, okay, now, because you have to be able to convince them in a sound off environment that you have something that's worth talking about. So Mitch holding up his baby, and he's saying, yes, make sure you take care of your family, and here's some other things to be visible. That is fantastic, because it doesn't look like he's selling. He's being personable. He's got his 3 tips, which is a listicle. Listicle is, 5 ways, 10 ways, whatever it might be. And it's a clear call to action, what you need to do. So fantastic. This COVID thing is just a great opportunity to create more content. So let's open it up for some questions and thoughts. And then we can go to some homework assignments. I'd love this training deck, of course. All right, what else do we have? Joe says, I'm creating an online coaching platform for subscribers. Should I charge? I would recommend having a free tier. The whole thing with Vendasta as a platform, which is why I think that they have the best business model, the best business opportunity of any business on the planet, is that the freemium model allows you to put content like this out for free, where you're helping businesses explain, let me explain why this business got a C on their listings. Let me explain, you're teaching, you're putting that stuff out for free, because ultimately there's going to be so many people selling info products and courses that done for you is what people want. And I think you guys are already seeing this, right? You're already seeing that there's sort of a saturation in the number of courses and how you can make money online. And even in the courses and how you can make money selling courses. How's that for one of those sorts? I won't name names, but I think you know who I'm talking about, right? It's gonna get, like the local businesses, they don't want to do it. So if anything, charge $7 just so that they're more likely to take it seriously. But that training that I was just showing you, I put probably over $1 million into building that deck that you see there. It is a lot of work. Like if you go through that, you'll see like how much we put into that, and it hurts me a little bit, but I know I'm going to have to put that out there for free. Now we're charging for it now, and we've made money on our courses, and thank goodness, Digital Marketer and Social Media Marketing World and all these guys put our content out there, and we get to speak at conferences. But hey, let's face the reality. With coronavirus and everything moving more online, accelerating the online learning and people spending more time. I mean, yes, they're watching more Netflix too, but they're also learning. That's going to accelerate the move towards courses exploding and more courses needing to be free because there's just too many courses. And then courses give way to demand in terms of done for you. Because if people go to a course and they see there's the 7 steps on how to do whatever, some people will do it, and that's fine, and let them do it. You don't want them to be in your agency because those are the people that you don't want. They complain. But when you put out your courses, you're going to get more people that will say, you know, I'd rather just pay the $500 a month to have you guys do it, right? So the courses are really just disguised lead gen. Just like when you put out your work from home policy, or you put out the work that, you know, here's what we need, here's what I'm doing for my favorite nonprofit in town. Or whenever you're putting stuff out there, it's actually disguised lead gen, not because you're tricking people or being disingenuous, but it's a way where it's called inception, right? It's a dream inside the dream. Like the dream inside the dream inside the dream is the 3-stage funnel of why, how, and what, because you know you're going to get them to the what, but you have to go through the why and the how. Before you ask for their hand in marriage, you need to, you know their name and go on a date, and like you need to do all these different things, right? And that's what we're doing as Vendasta partners. And ultimately Vendasta, even though we're selling courses and things like that, ultimately we make money based on the implementation, on selling tasks in the marketplace, right? So I would love nothing more than to equip you guys with training. Feel free to like rip me off or whatever, like take our training, put your name on it. I want to help you do that. If you find any of this stuff is good, we're building more of it. If there's other training that you want to see done or what have you, like that's what we're putting together. We're taking the feedback from you guys here in our weekly think tank and creating training against it. Yeah, Joe says he'll take all the help. Harold says, what platform do you recommend using to create and house online courses? That's a whole nother session by itself. Basically, there's hosted, or self-hosted, and cloud solutions. So the cloud solutions could be like a Thinkific or a Kajabi, or the other ones where Lightspeed, where you can build courses and they host it. It's like WordPress.com versus WordPress.org. And then if it's self-hosted, it could be like a Moodle, or it could be like a LearnDash, where it's a WordPress plugin and it's on your site and you're hosting. It's more effort, but the trade-off is you have more flexibility in terms of like configuration, API integration. You can tune it yourself versus dependent upon someone else, right? But don't worry about the platform that you put it on. Worry first about getting the structure of what you're teaching. And I think we talked last week, no, it was 2 weeks ago, about the course builder and how you build courses and you assemble these different topics. It's basically your topic wheel that you start out with video versions, and your video versions you transcribe into text, and that becomes your guide. The guide is the book version. The videos together in sequence, like you saw with Joe, becomes a course. A course is literally, you can take a webinar, any of the ones that we've done for Think Tank here, and you can turn that into a mini course. A course doesn't have to be a college course. It can literally be like one webinar that you chop into 6 chapters that are 5 minutes each. And you have an accompanying guide, and you have a landing page for it, and then people can buy it for $10 or get it for free or whatever it is, right? That's a course. You can then host it on wherever. Through you can run it through ClickFunnels that then goes to Infusionsoft, or you can go through Memberium that ties to LearnDash, or you can use an all-in-one like the Kajabi or the Thinkific. Like that's, and by the way, if these are all tools that you've never heard of and you're confused, and you know what? I only know like 10% of all the tools that are out there. There's so many. I've spent, who knows, 100 hours looking at the technology behind the different kinds of courses. So don't even worry about that. The issue is always going to be whether you create that content on video. That's where 90% of your effort should be. 10% is in the technical stuff of which tool do we use. Like I have some friends who suck so bad at golf, and they spend all this time obsessing about should it be a Titleist or a TaylorMade. I'm like, dude, it's your swing, dude. Your swing sucks, right? And it's just same thing like with the, like, you know this, like when you started, let's be honest, when you got your first website and you're excited about being an agency, like, yes, I'm an agency. Now I can help these local businesses because I love Vendasta, right? And I can work, you know, be my own boss and all that. Honestly, like how much time did you spend on the name of your business, on the logo, on how the website should look and all that? Like, come on. The reason people buy from you is because you've shared some expertise. You've built relationships from people that know you. Your customers are happy and they refer you. And that's what drove business for you. It wasn't like what WordPress theme you used for your website. So yeah, just make sure you don't get that part wrong. Make sure you get the effort in the right place. If the courses are going to be saturated, do you see room for one-on-one coaching? Absolutely. Because if people come in on the open courses, which anybody can take, it's on demand. Look, you record a series of videos that you put on YouTube. Those are courses. Like any kind of training is courses. They don't get caught up in the idea of like a course is like this thing you buy in a box or something, or a book. A course is you sharing your knowledge in a semi-structured way that ideally has a checklist against it. It doesn't have to have a certification. It doesn't have to be tied to some larger body, right? So when you put that stuff out there where anyone can attend a webinar or go through your course, what naturally is going to happen? The people that you want as clients, the people where their time is valuable, they'll reach out and say, hey, MarketPie, or hey, Devin, that's great, that course that you have, but I would really like to hire you. And like whatever it costs, for example, yesterday, I was on a call with a guy who owns 375 furniture locations. And he saw me speak at Social Media Marketing World. And by the way, speaking on stage is the same thing as teaching courses as far as I'm concerned. It's just a different medium. Who cares like what format it is? You're just teaching what you know. And he said, oh, you know what? And I gave him all of our courses intentionally because I wanted him to see like, this is all the stuff that we have. Oh, look, we've done the same thing for Ashley Furniture, which is way bigger than you guys are, 710 stores instead of 375, right? And here it is, and you guys can implement it. In fact, like you can give it to your team, to agencies, to all the people that you have. And you know what his response was? Because you want to play reverse psychology. His response was, oh, no, I don't want to do that. I want to hire you guys to do this stuff for me. Because I've gone through all these different agencies and I didn't realize like how complex this was and all the stuff that you know, like I just realized I really don't even know what I'm doing. And then that's when people say, okay, I just want to hire you. So that's when you have one-on-one consulting. That's when you have packages. So free courses lead to either premium courses and or like a mastermind and or one-on-one consulting. And then at the very top, you have managed services, all the stuff in the Vendasta marketplace. So get your training out there so you can get people to the point where they hire you, and that creates inbound marketing. They want to talk to you. I think we're almost out of time.
We are
Mr.
coming
Devin,
to the end. But that's a lot of truth for a Friday. I loved all that. You're so generous with the content, with all the templates that we're definitely going to share. You'll get your hands on that. I love the piece about printing things off. While you were talking, I found your beast that you gave me at a conference once.
Oh,
Here's the 1,200 page.
Love
This
it.
has thud factor. It has that thump weight to it, which is awesome.
You're not going to throw it away too, right? Isn't that nice? If you give that to a client, you meet them. I mean, of course, now it's harder to meet them. You can still have it print on demand. Like Florida Copies is my favorite place because they print color at like 7 cents a page in the United States, right? That's just really nice because imagine like you're the client and you get that thick thing there and it costs you whatever $8 to, well, 15 when you include shipping and all that. Are they not more likely to hire you? Aren't they impressed? Guess what? You could take our stuff and we could even help you. We could take our VAs and help you customize it to have your name and your pictures and all that stuff on that. If you fill out your topic wheel in 3x3 and content library, we can customize any of the training for you. You just choose what chapters you want, how you want it to look. Isn't that awesome? I'm surprised more people don't do that.
Love it. There's your homework, everyone. Go and make a 1,200 page deck to bring next week.
That's right.
But we are at the end here, and I do want to leave off with some homework. So what would be a good segue from here? What would you like to see these guys do for next week?
I'm going to have the same homework almost every week. And because it's the same thing that's limiting us as partners from growing our businesses, and that is make a 1-minute video. Post it on Facebook, on YouTube. If you've already done that, and some of you guys, I see like Mitch and Joe you guys are already masters at this, then go live. That's the next step. Go live and maybe even bring on a guest. You don't have to make it fancy, but you do have to know what your topics are, like a list of 4 or 5 bullet points so that way you're not just wandering, right? Going for 7, 4 out of 7, oh wow, okay. But make a 1-minute video and talk about any kind of topic. It could be something that you're grateful for. It could be some piece of good news. It could be a piece of knowledge you have to share. It could be how you're working from home and how you have your computer set up at the kitchen table. Make your 1-minute video, and then next week, paste your 1-minute video, the link to it in the chat here, and we'll go through it.
Right on. And I can't wait. I think I've teased it a few weeks now, but I really want to get to those benchmarks to find out, what is winning, what's not. Let's get back to the $1 a day. But Dennis is right. We got to start recording to get there. So keep keep filming, everybody. Have a great week. We will follow up with all the content, and thanks again for tuning in.
Thank
we'll
you,
see you next
everybody.
time.
Good weekend.